cloud for you from my novella Goddess, chapter 57. Maddie took first one faltering step, then another, as she crept into the cluttered, cramped room, blinking her eyes against the dusky light. Thick blackout curtains had been installed at the window, rendering the room as dark as midnight. The only light, a feeble lamp on a bedside table. She took another step forward and her foot crunched. Thinking she'd stepped on something and broken it, she looked down and saw loose piles of gravel and crumpled up newspapers and oily rags. The outer barn area was spacious compared to this inner sanctuary, and Maddie suspected she'd entered the artist's sleeping quarters. Her temples throbbed. Time was critical, for the little statue had reported that the artist had taken a bottle of pills into the room with her, and without being told what kind of pills they were, Maddie had a good suspicion that they were either sleeping pills or some kind of opioid. She was well acquainted with the narcotic effects of oxycodone. She needed to intervene before it was too late. Only how? As her eyes adjusted to the dim light, she found her attention drawn to a cot in the corner. It'd been pushed up against a wall and heaped with blankets and bedding. No movement, not a stir. Perhaps the artist had left the room through a hidden door? She didn't see any indication as to where the artist might be, and her heart surged with hope at the idea that the artist had already left the room. Somehow, she hoped and prayed, the artist had decided against suicide and left to do what exactly? Take a walk? Go to the farmhouse and crawl between the covers of a proper bed and not some flimsy cot, leaving the sleeping pills out here? Or was the artist still here, dying, alone and uncared for? The room was stacked to the ceiling with the artist's leftover materials and assorted works in progress. Maddie saw several bags of concrete stacked up into a column, a slab of limestone leaning against a wall. The shelves were filled to overflowing with paint-splattered cans, tubs, and empty cans containing paintbrushes of all shapes and sizes and widths. And next to them were containers of spackling and oil paint tubes. There were stone cutting tools on another shelf, and Maddie was staring at these tools with great interest when a slight movement in the corner startled her and drew her attention to the corner. At first she thought it was the artist herself, but the figure was child-sized and moved in an oddly disjointed manner, and it took her a moment to realize that she was gazing at the finished statue of a little Native American boy. He stood up, tall and proud, his hand pointing up to the night sky, his gaze heavenwards. He resembled the little girl in the cast of the face, the angle of the chin. He lowered his hand when he saw Maddie, and tears filled his eyes. "Are you here to save her?" he asked. "If I can. I'm lonely. I want my sister." A plaid flannel shirt coated with sawdust dangled on a hook above the boy's head. The shirt still bore the sense and memory of the body of the artist. Her thin, bony elbows, her tiny body, who'd apparently just taken it off and put it on the hook. The artist, Willow, Probably put that shirt on hundreds of times every day and took it off whenever she grew warm. "Please hurry," the little boy said. "I want to live with my sister." "Of course you do. Only, where is she?" Maddie straightened up and scanned the cluttered space, looking hard this time, but she still couldn't find the artist. Was she hidden in another, more interior room? The answer came a few moments later, when the heap of blankets and bedding on the cot stirred a tiny bit. And as the pile of bedding moved, a long, thick braid fell to the floor. The hair was raven black, shot through with gray. Maddie walked closer. On a small table beside the cot sat a half-full bottle of sleeping pills. Or half empty. The woman stirred, let out a choked sob.